Live. So here we go. Um, Here I am. Hopefully, you guys can see me okay. I can't see you, but hopefully, I'll see you in a minute here. There we go. All right. Sorry about that. Technical difficulties here. YouTube gets a little funny when you've got a new channel. Not everything is like as smooth as is my other channel, my Manchester United channel. So, still working out the kinks a little bit. Um, All right, it looks like I'm live now, so hope you guys can all get a good laugh at that. Um, okay, so let me go through what I've got here. Let me just get my notes pulled up really, really quickly. Here we go. So, I gotta be honest, right? A little bit disappointed, a little bit disappointed with the match. I thought we would have gotten something from it. I thought we would have been a little bit sharper. You know, um, I feel like we would have won that. I feel we should have won that. Um, so yeah, I don't know. I've got mixed feelings about it. I've got mixed feelings. I've got icky feelings about it. I just feel like that same old curse that I will get into in a minute is what like continues to plague the national team. I mean, look, first half, it looked like a home game for Korea, right? Like I wasn't there. I didn't see everything that happened in the stands. I just saw what I saw on social media, and people were saying it seemed like it was a home game for Korea. It seemed like there were more Korean fans there than American fans. I get that there are other sports taking precedent right now, like American football. But yeah, that probably didn't help the players, nerves very much. Korea came out in a defensive but counterattacking formation. It was spearheaded by Sun. I mean, Sun's gonna Sun, right? We know what he does. We know what he brings. He's a phenomenal player. No disrespect to MLS. I was surprised that he went to LAFC, but nonetheless, he is there. But he still obviously has top level quality, as you saw by that goal. One side note, I thought it was interesting that the South Korean players had their first names on the jerseys. I thought that was kind of cool. Anyway, Korea pressed high and hard. The U.S. did pretty okay in the pressure, just to start with. It was pretty end to end. Looked a little shaky at the back, right? And this is first half notes. A little shaky at the back. Um, we weren't quite piecing it together, in the top half of the pitch either. There were balls that were kind of going behind Sargent and whatnot. So a little bit a little bit challenging there. Um, but apart from that, like it wasn't too bad, right? Like we were looking okay. I was thinking, okay, we'll probably get, something out of this, maybe a goal or two, or at least have a good showing. And yeah, it just didn't quite materialize, right? And then, you get to the second goal, and there was just no reason why, that player should have had that kind of space to attack our goal. It's like defending 101, right? The closer the opposition is to your goal, the faster you close them down, right? And it just seemed like we just didn't do that. We gave the guy time to just completely turn, pick his head up, and pick out a pass. So that was just a bit disappointing to see that second goal go in like that. But again, things happen, right? You move forward. I was still at this point expecting a goal from us in this first half, right? Um, and yeah, South Korea just looked a bit cleaner. Pulisic wasn't really visible, right? Second half, I thought things would change. It's kind of more of the same until the last, 20, 25 minutes. Now, don't get me wrong, this wasn't our strongest team. I get it, but this wasn't our weakest team either. This was like a solid B plus team, I'd say, right? And this wasn't Korea's strongest team either. So probably really two solid B plus teams out there battling it out. But we just didn't look as sharp as South Korea. In fact, let me just pull up some stats really quickly and just share those with you. And I think those will paint a picture. I already had a look at it, but like we had 17 shots to Korea's five. We had five on target, therefore we had more possession. We had 87% pass accuracy. That's pretty darn high. We had six corners to their three. So yeah, we lost the game 2-0. So, you know, out of their five shots, four were on target, two were goals. Out of our 17 shots, five were on target and none were goals. So that tells you right there that like, you know, not the most efficient in goal. And that kind of goes what I was saying earlier and how we were just kind of lacking that final pass in the final third, right, and just not quite cohesive there. Um, I thought our midfield was okay, but like, again, defensively we looked a bit shaky. Um, and like I said, the second half we looked better in the last 20, 25 minutes. But there's just this thing where, again, we just don't look tidy. We just don't look neat with the ball. Um, and I don't get it because I watch these guys, most of them play in their leagues, especially the guys who have the European pedigree, who played, in top level European football, and they just seem to like be better, be tighter, be sharper there. And then it gets to the national team and it just kind of goes away. I don't know what happens. I don't know if it's the playing surfaces or what, but like it just seems to get lost a little bit. And there seems to be a little bit of sloppiness with the ball, just not quite taking care of those passes, especially some back passes to Freeze today were a little bit questionable. Again, the passes in the final third were questionable. And it just looked a bit off. It's like the talent and skill is there in abundance, if you ask me. But then, like, that little bit of quality is just not there. That bit of care is just not there. And I don't know if that's a player attitude problem or if that's just like, again, the pitch, the surface, or what's going on. Nerves, pressure, I don't know. I kind of feel like at this point, our U.S. men's national team fan base has kind of become like England's back in the day, and even to this day, where they're just very toxic in some ways. They put a lot of pressure, on the men's national team. Again, we want results, but like, it's like, oh, if we lose a game, it's just like, oh, we're the worst team ever. So I don't want to push that, but at the same time, I feel like there's a lot of room for improvement still for sure between now and the World Cup. Um, so yeah, I just that bit of quality we're missing. Just that bit of quality, that bit of care for the ball. I think if we nailed that down, we probably could have had 3 goals tonight. It would have been a much different game, I think. Um, but I think that's what lets us down. Honestly, if you put that team in the World Cup right now against like some decent opposition, we probably won't make it out. If we get an easy draw, I think we come out first or second. But like, if you give us like solid teams, like an Austria or who else? Maybe a Wales. I don't know that we get past them, to be honest. So yeah, I don't know. Anyway, guys, I try to keep these short. Apologies, some technical difficulties today starting out. Because this channel is fairly new, YouTube was kind of iffy about streaming, and so had to get through that. And then my streaming software they made some changes, so it's like I thought I was live before I wasn't live, so it was just a few things going on. But just rest assured that they will be ironed out the next time we go live together. And I'll leave it there. So I will see you on the next one. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. So I'll see you on the next one, guys. Peace.